right, hey Ron, we have a couple questions for you. We've actually had a lot this week. So, first of all, we're going to start. This one's from Jason Williams, and he's from Smyrna, Delaware.
All right, well, before we start, I want you to turn that camera around and look at this exciting group I'm working with here all day today. This is my real estate mastermind group. Their quest is to net $1 million a year, starting this year and every year beyond, and that's why we're here. We have 3 meetings a year. If you would like to be in this group, I probably shouldn't have showed them to you first, but like to be in this group, let us know and we'll send you an application on it. All right, question number 1 is.
All right, from Jason in Smyrna, Delaware. Hey Ron, I have a short sale that I'm processing that I've hit a dead road on. One of the mortgages is being held by Household Bank, HSBC,
Yep.
but they are no longer in business. When you call HSBC, their voicemail gives you a general message of, for any questions on the loan, contact the new third-party servicer.
Okay.
The seller states that they haven't received any notifications on who the new servicer is. He hasn't paid on the loan in over 8 years. How do I find out who is servicing it now?
I don't know, but it's sure worth finding out on that one. The truth is, this thing is probably lost. And it's just a matter of tracking them down. And I'm telling you, your best thing to do is get your attorney on it and let your attorney write the letters to the appropriate parties. Now, if your voicemail system tells you who the servicer is, obviously that's the first place you want to go. But other than that, it's a matter of notifying parties till you get an answer. But they're definitely worth tracking down. Now, this is assuming that there are no, that you can't find the seller. You didn't tell me that. Because if you can find the seller and you can get the deed from the seller, even if you give them a little money, you can file a quiet title suit on this property, and it's possible no lender will answer. Because I don't think they know they even own the property. And if they don't answer within the amount of time that they're given to your state, the liens are extinguished. So that's the first thing I'd want to do is see if I can track down. You can track down the owner. Hire a private investigator, you have to. And say, look, I know you're behind 8 years and yeah, but how about I give you $500 and get the deed so I can see if I can get a hold of these lenders. And then why wouldn't they? They're long gone, or whatever it takes. All right? And by the way, if you get the deed, you own the house regardless of what's owed on it. It's your house. Just want you to know that. It's your house, okay? Do whatever you want to do with it. If I wasn't on camera, you could even grow pot in it. But since I'm on camera, you can't do that. All right. What's the next question?
Okay, this is from Maurice DeWitt.
Maurice?
Marie. Hi Ron, I'm
Where's-
currently going through your 2016, doesn't say where she's from. Hi Ron, I'm currently going through your 2016 Work for Equity course and have a question about repairs and inspection. Addendum B states that the owner will designate an inspector to come to the property and verify the repairs have made. Would this be a bona fide inspector from the codes department? And to whom does this $100 inspection fee go?
No.
Would you please elaborate on this
The
process?
answer is no. It's an inspector of your choice, likely you, and the $100 goes to you. All you're doing is seeing if they've done the work that they've agreed to do. That's all you're doing. Now, if you want to ask me if I send an inspector out, no, because I don't care if they do the work or not. When I hand them the keys, I set it and forget it until they move. So if you're going to do work correctly, you need to understand that most of the people aren't going to buy. Therefore, I don't have any reason to follow up and harass them about getting the work done. As long as they pay the rent, they can stay in the house till the second coming, for all I care. Just my thought. All right.
All right, this next question is from Janelle Gibbs, all the way from Texas.
All the way from where in Texas? Don't say?
No, just
Okay.
Texas Realty is who she works for.
Okay. I just came back from Texas. I was there last week. Man, I had to slow down so they could catch up out there. Just kidding. All right.
All right, Janelle asked, which forms are needed if seller agrees to give a 60-day option for me to find a cash buyer to purchase the property?
Well, the form would be the option agreement. It's on your Gold Club site, but I'd certainly negotiate more than 60 days if I were you. Because 60 days is a very, very fast turnaround. Remember, it's going to take at least 30 of those 60s to get them qualified after you find them. So I'd get, bare minimum of 90. And just for the heck of it, I'd negotiate up front a renewal period, even if you have to give them a little bit more money. Truth is, though, if you haven't found the buyer in 90 days, you probably won't in 180 days. Okay?
All right, sounds good. This next one is from Warner Austin, and he's from Salem, Oregon.
Okay,
He says, "Hi, I live in Salem, Oregon, and I have been cruising for dollars with my wife, but we tend to disagree what a wholesale prospect is versus a pretty house suspect. I see some abandoned houses and houses that need major rehabs.
Mhm.
The asking is still over 100K, but I still feel these are more ugly houses. She feels that if a house needs more than 15K worth of work, it's ugly. I don't want to be right. Happy wife, happy life. But I want us to be able
amen,
to,
brother.
but I want us to be able to understand what we are looking for."
All right, here's the answer. You're confusing the degree of repairs with pretty versus ugly, and that's really not applicable here. I know it sounds like it should be. An ugly house is an all-cash deal. A pretty house is a terms deal. It's one of the two. If it needs major rehab and it's got a lot of equity or it's free and clear, my seller might want all cash. That makes it an ugly house. But if it comes with terms, it makes it a pretty house, even if it needs work. Many of the pretty houses we buy need some kind of work. That still falls into the terms system. If we get terms, it's a pretty house. If we don't, ugly house. And you're on track, man. Keep agreeing with your wife. That's how you stay. That's how you stay married for 53 years, like me. I haven't won an argument in 51. All right.
All right, this next one, he's been a previous question asker before, and it's from Phil Heimlich, and he has two questions.
Okay.
His first one said, "On a previous edition of Ask Ron, you said that when I buy a house, I should use a land trust for each house instead of setting up a separate LLC and bank account for each property.
That's correct.
What about those situations where I lease a house with an option to buy from the seller
You use an LLC as the lessee.
and then turn around and lease option it to my tenant buyer?"
You use an LLC as lessee. You cannot use a land trust in a lease option deal. You must transfer title into the trust to form the trust. You're not transferring title in a lease option deal. Now, if you ever wanted to take title, you could buy it in a trust, even if your LLC is the lessee. But you're probably not taking title. You're gonna sandwich lease option it out and have the seller deed it directly to your buyer and take whatever you got coming as a fee on the closing statement. Land trusts do not apply to lease options.
All right, and his second question is, "I recently signed a deal to acquire the seller's house, but 1 hour before the closing, he threatened to pull out unless I made various concessions. Had I not made the concessions, I would have been out $2,500 in legal fees I owed my attorney for drafting the closing documents. How can I protect myself in this situation from a seller pulling out after I've spent thousands on legal fees?"
Well, I don't know what you spend $2,500 on to begin with. That's the first thing you ought to find out, because we don't spend $2,500 on any real estate closing attorney's fees. I don't care where you're at. So that'd be my first question to you. But the answer to your real question is it depends on you and how much grit you got. Because you had a purchase and sale agreement with the seller. They can't just change it because they say they want to, and they can't back out because they say they want to. You could have easily filed an affidavit, clouded up their title, and kept them from selling to anybody else. Now, would that start a war? Most likely. But you have nothing to lose. You're going to win the war. You're the one that's willing to honor your deal. They're not. That's called breach of contract. I mean, you got them. So it's up to you whether you want to stand firm and fight, or whether you want to cave in like you did and be a wimp. Your choice. I would have stood firm, but I understand why anybody would rather deal their way out of it than to fight their way out of it. And you probably made the right decision, especially at your level of the game. Does that make you feel better? All right.
All right, and this is our last question. Ron, what happens when I catch a bigger fish than you? And this is from Corey.
Well, Corey's in the room right now, and he already knows the impossibility of that. So, we're going fishing Thursday as a group. We're going offshore, and there's no chance Corey's going to catch a bigger fish than me. So there's no need to answer that foolish question. Okay, you guys, let me tell you something. You know that my Mastering the Phone event is coming up here on the 6th, 7th, and 8th of August. The problem is we're almost full. In fact, we had 9 seats left this morning when I looked, and that's true. And then some of these people are going to come. So if you have any intentions of registering that, you better do it right now, because we're going to have to close it off here in the next day or two. And it's free with a $100 refundable deposit. So if you intend to do our business and you're not there, boy, why? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. All right, with that said, I'll see you next week. Go out and get some deals going. And remember, you must send me a testimonial letter with your picture, copy of your check, and a description of what you do. It is federal law. It's HR 1238. Look it up for yourself.
All right, say bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.